Hi, today I'd like to teach you a very quick method to find out, looking quickly at the chart of someone that you're in love with, someone that you love, or even your own chart, to find out if this person, if yourself, will have it more easy time of having relationships, how good their capacity of having relationships, or how bad their capacity of having a relationship is. And actually this is just one of the many astrological methods that you can look at to see how happy one will be in a relationship, how generally good one will, how dateable one is, so to speak, how good is one to be for a relationship. But there are quite a few different techniques. There are 4 or 5 different astrological factors that you have to look to see the fuller picture. And if you want to see the fuller picture about your own capacity, how big your capacity for relationship is, for happiness in relationship is, or the person that you're in love with, how big is their capacity to be happy in a relationship and to have peaceful and good relationships, you can order the report, my report, which is female capacity report, a male capacity report from astrolada.com, where there is the full picture there. But now I'm going to teach you a quick method how to do this at home. And this is just one of the factors, I repeat again. For someone to be totally undateable or not good in a relationship and unhappy and better still from a relationship generally in their life, you need to have 4 or 5, 2 or 3 at least different difficult factors. And in a series of videos I will show you how to find out these factors for yourself or for the people you like. And we'll start with the first very quick method. And if you don't know your birth chart, maybe a lot of you probably are familiar with the circular birth chart, but I use in my website one with squares and triangles. Both signify the same thing. You can use whichever way you are comfortable with. Just go to my website astrolada.com, go to my birth chart calculator and enter the exact time of birth, say 4:50 in the morning, and place. You need to know your time of birth to find out this technique, or the time of birth of the person you're interested in. And once you have the horoscope comes up for you, this is what you're going to see, and you're going to see different planets in different places, and we need to look only at the positions of Ketu and Rahu in your own horoscope or the horoscope you're interested in. And because Ketu and Rahu are the karmic planets, whenever they're in special positions in the horoscope, it will indicate karmic lessons that one has to learn. And Ketu is a planet which shows what you've been learning in a past life, the lessons you've been learning in your past life, but you haven't finished, and you kind of still, you feel unconfident about these things. So you have a lot of ambivalence and insecurity in your life about the things Ketu signifies. And Rahu signifies the things you haven't learned at all. You're almost like a toddler who is trying to learn in that area of life. You'll be kind of botching the job there for the first part of your life, because you're trying to walk, falling down, trying to walk, falling down. You'll be trying to do it, you really want to, but you will be kind of inexperienced there. So that's why difficulties can come. And the first position where it can give somehow of a less capacity to enjoy a relationship or to be fully happy in a relationship is if you have Ketu. And Ketu and Rahu, they're always opposite each other, always opposite, because they're the 2 nodes of the moon, so they always move opposite each other. So if you have Ketu in the 1st house and Rahu in the 7th house, or here if you're using a circular chart, it will be the north node in the 1st house. The north node is signified like that, or Ketu for this reason, is the same name, or the south node, or the north node, sorry, this is the south node, and the north node is Rahu in the 7th house. But if you have this position in your chart, and the 1st house is the self, with Ketu there, it shows that in a past life you were working a lot on yourself, on your self-confidence, on finding out who you are uniquely as a person. But you still haven't completed the job, so you still have quite a few insecurities about who you are in life. Usually people with this position are very unique people, because they really worked on their identity in a past life. They're on they've been self-absorbed, and often such people will be very self-absorbed. They might be quite shy, especially the first part of their life, and retreating more because they're so much used to being, in their own world, that they're more retreating to within themselves. Ketu also gives insecurities, lack of confidence about yourself. You know, even though you've worked on yourself, you kind of feel like that you are lacking in some respect. And when you feel you're lacking, you tend to reflect this in your relationships, and this is where relationships are seventh house. And when Rahu is in the seventh house, Rahu shows the place that we have no experience in, or like very meager experience in a past life, and this is relationships. So even if you don't believe in past life, it will just signify that you are very inexperienced when it comes to relationship, and in this life, it will take you a while to get the grasp of how to be in a committed relationship. It doesn't mean you can't sleep around and have many partners, it can, but how to do it properly. So where Rahu is in the seventh house, it will always give some kind of a contamination about your understanding what is to be in a proper relationship. I have this position, and actually it brings more than one marriages or long-term partnerships. You can people who have Rahu in the seventh house, they usually have 3 or 4 different long-term partnerships till they learn how to do it right. It's not that they're big cheaters, and often it's an indication for cheating as well. But it's not that they're evil people. I hope I'm not. It's just that they need to learn the lesson of how to be in a relationship. And just like a toddler, when they fall down and botches up the job, you don't get too angry with them when they're trying to learn to walk. So if you have someone you're in love with Rahu in the seventh house, till around 35, 40, they will be kind of having a difficulty of being in committed relationships, and because they just don't know how to do that. And also they have some issues with self-confidence, so they tend to jump into relationships which are not very healthy in their life, and because they don't have much experience in relationships, they tend to attract also, they tend to go for the wrong relationships. Then usually such people have 2 or 3 relationships that are kind of painful, and they marry up a bit later. So I would advise people in such position, wait till you're 35 or a bit later in life to settle down fully, play around a bit before that, kick out those demons out of your system, so you don't start cheating once you get married, because Rahu is where you crave something, you crave it because you haven't experienced it before, it's insatiable, so you crave more connection with others, you crave more sexual experiences with others, you crave more attention from others, but you're not really good at doing that thing, you're not really good at keeping commitments, And don't worry, it doesn't mean you're doomed. You just learn with age, these positions get better and better, And the confidence comes to this person once they learn how to be in committed relationship, once they learn the lessons of Rahu. Usually after 30, 35, especially towards the 40th year, when you learn how to behave properly in a relationship, how to be committed, how to, to keep the side of your contract in a relationship, then your confidence comes fuller and fuller within yourself, and then you complete the mission of Ketu, in this life, which is to complete your self-development. And then we have the opposite position. Then we have just the opposite, when actually Rahu is in the first house and Ketu is in the seventh house. It means that this person in a past life has worked a lot in relationship. He has been in committed relationships, and he has found security in relationships, and his normal state of operation would be to feel that he needs relationship. These people usually go into long-term relationship very early in life. They jump into it because that's what they're familiar with from past life. That's where they feel secure. It's like the known territory. Ketu is the known territory. But because Ketu is something that you've experienced from the past, and that it's very familiar to you, start getting disillusioned and disappointed with it. And you have to reach out towards Rahu for the affairs of the house of Ketu to work. You have to reach out across and explore and work on the house where Rahu is. So people with Ketu in the 7th will often get disappointed in relationship. They will somehow be hurt, sooner or later, because they have to let go of clinging so strongly to relationships. They have to learn actually how to be self-sufficient. They have to develop the first house. The first house is the self. So they have to pay more attention to themselves, to their own interest, to their own path in life, whether it's their vocation, something. They have to take their energy back from the relationship. They have to focus it on themselves. It doesn't mean to be self-obsessed, because Rahu can always go both extremes, can get fully self-obsessed. But it means they have to work more on themselves, and what is their true path in life, what is their true vocation, And once they sort out this, especially after their late 30s, 40s, once they find out who they are as individuals, their relationship will start getting better and better. So again, I would advise such people not to hurry up to marry early, because they usually marry up early or hurry up to be from very young in relationship because they feel comfortable there. They've done it in a past life. They know it works, but somehow life will not allow them to hold on to those relationships until they develop their own personality first, and until they learn how to be detached from their relationships. People with such positions, they should never go into obsessive relationships where the other takes all their energy. Actually, they should kind of have distance with their partner, a little bit of detachment. Once they learn to keep their privacy and their detachment, their relationship will start working out better. And before that, there's somehow the life will tend to deprive them, give them this discontentment in relationship, disappointment in relationships, so they can learn to let go. If they try not to let go, it will come from outside. I hope you understand. So you have to learn to develop yourself first. What is more important. You're more important in your life, and then your relationship will sort out themselves. But while the opposite way, when Rahu was in the 7, you have to learn how to be committed in a relationship, how to be faithful in a relationship, and then your self-confidence will improve, and you will somehow feel much more complete person. The other painful position is when Rahu or Ketu let's say Rahu is in the 10, Ketu is in the 4. It's in the 4th to 10th house. When Ketu, they're always opposite, I keep saying. When the 4th to 10th house, we have those planets, and of course, so many people have them. It doesn't mean that immediately you're bad and you're never going to have a good relationship. A bit later in life, or it will take you a few years to learn your lessons. When Ketu is in the 4th house, is important when looking at the horoscope of a woman, because the 4th house is the house of emotional receptivity and how well you feel emotionally within yourself. And for women, it's more important. For women to be happy, they should feel happy within themselves. They should be emotionally receptive and peaceful. And 10th house is more important for men because it's the house of actions. The actions you do in the world, and because of these things, men feel worthy. I'm not saying that nowadays many women are not like that, but generally, if you're a female within yourself, you are more feminine. You have more feminine hormones than male, So for male, it's more important the planet in the 10th house that can give problems. So if it's a male horoscope you're looking at and you see that the male has Rahu here in the 10th house, what does it mean? Well, it means that this person, 10th house is the actions that he takes. And Rahu, again, is not used to keeping promises, or it's not used, he can get very excited about something. His actions can be really over the top, and he can promise you the world, and I love you, yes, let's go, let's get married, we have children, promises you everything, but Rahu is very inconsistent. And 1 year down the line, he changes his mind, he decides to go and live in Istanbul or whatever, decides that he's in love with his secretary, and just does something inconsistent and unreliable and breaks the heart of the woman, So men with this position, usually with their actions, they don't have past experience to sticking on to their actions. They don't have much, men like that will be very much charismatic. They would want to have big achievements in life because they desire that. Rahu is something we strongly desire. So they aim always high, they promise big things, but Rahu, because doesn't have much experience in them keeping the promises, it can, just like it can be just build castles in the air or whatever, so the woman gets hurt. When it's the woman's horoscope, we look at the 4th house, because the 4th house is the emotional state of the woman, and a woman to be happy in a relationship, it's usually, she has to feel emotionally well. She doesn't care so much what she achieves in the world to be happy in a relationship, While for a man who is in the world, his things are, his career is not going so well, or there are some difficulties in his actions in the world, he will feel unhappy in a relationship. It can reflect on his happiness in relationships. That's what it can give. So the 4th house is your emotional well-being of a woman. And Ketu is a planet which shows that in a past life, this woman learned to control a lot her emotions. She worked a lot on her emotions, and she learned to control them, but not to a healthy extent. So such a woman would often not show what she feels, Such a woman would often, she might be hurt, but she would just say, oh, forget about it, She'll tell her partner can ask, please tell me what it is, let's discuss it. She said, no, 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 it's nothing, forget about it, and just wants to bury it. And sooner or later she erupts, you know. And it's not so painful, but it is frustrating for a man in the long run, because he doesn't really know what's happening within the woman, and she's trying to hold these emotions, to control them more. And you know, if you're using, I'm using whole house systems here. If you're using other house systems like Placidus or like unequal house systems, watch also the degree of the 10th house, you know, the midheaven and the IC. Those of you who know a little bit of astrology would understand what I mean. And if Rahu or Ketu, you know, if Rahu or Ketu are close to those degrees, that's when it gets really painful. Person can really feel it, you know, close to the IC and the MC. But if you're not familiar with astrology, just follow this pattern. So yes, so the woman can be hiding her feelings, and it can be frustrating for the man in the long run, and she can be emotionally controlled, while the man can be, Rahu is the opposite energy in his actions. He can be over the top, but just like not follow through, inconsistent, and or his worldly activities might not be putting him, he's not so experienced in how to live his worldly activities, even though he's very ambitious. And because of this, he might change his plans for the relationship if his worldly, you know, reputation and actions are not going as they are. And he can change his mind a lot, you know, for what he wants from his life, and that can affect badly on the relationship. Then we have the reverse. If Rahu is here and Ketu is here, and again we said we look for the man, for the male horoscope at the 10th house. And when Ketu is in the 10th house of a male, this is someone who feels very, Ketu is a planet that makes you feel ambivalent and having, being confused exactly, and being not, you know, because Ketu is something that you've been doing in a past life. So this person has been working on his career and his worldly actions, but at the same time he feels lacking, and he's kind of almost feels like locked and confused what to do, what to take next, because of lack of confidence about his worldly actions and the activities that he takes. So this can be extremely frustrating for a woman, because the man might be afraid to act, or he might be just at a loss or ambivalent. His actions can be very ambivalent. If he's in love with her, he might not be showing it properly. His actions are ambivalent, you know, his actions are not properly. The Rahu position in the 10th house was the opposite. He goes and says and promises everything and wants this and wants that, but maybe doesn't deliver and changes his mind later. Ketu is the opposite. He's like, yes, maybe we'll do that. Yes, or he's unhappy in the relationship and he doesn't take any actions to change that. He just stays being unhappy, drinking himself at home, you know, and kind of having not taking proper actions to correct this, you know. So this can be extremely even more painful for a man, for a woman who is with a man in such a relationship. You know, that is a difficult one. And if a woman has Rahu in her 4th house, because we look at the Rahu in the woman chart, her emotional world, she's not used in a past life how to control her feelings and emotions. Just the opposite. She's never worked on an emotional, she doesn't understand well her needs and emotions. That's the 4th house, the needs, the emotions. And for instance, she might feel unappreciated and unloved, but instead of that, she will not go to the person, to the husband or the boyfriend, and say, you know, this action hurted, I feel vulnerable, and I feel like you're showing me with this, you don't love me. No, she will just react. Her reactions will be more aggressive or angry or intolerant. So she will not show the real emotions she has. She will show the secondary emotions, like my teacher says, and he explains it really well in the report. Actually, you know, if you order it, if you have this position, you would understand it properly. So a woman like that will actually be painful to be with in a relationship. She would want one thing, or she would not be sure what exactly she wants. And when she gets what she wants, she will not be responsive. 4th house is how responsive you are, how receptive you are to the good things that come in your life. And with Rahu there, she will not even appreciate it or realize when the good thing comes to her, and she would focus on something else that she wants, and kind of always a sense of discontent and unhappiness within herself, which really shows on the relationship. So always these women, they tend to show feelings The second feelings that they have within themselves, the feeling of anger and being and negativity, rather than tell why exactly she's feeling like that and go and tell him and say, let's discuss it, that's why I'm feeling, that's what it is. But again, with age, this relaxes more and more over 35, 40 onwards, and relationship. The woman's inner world, this is the inner peace of a woman, and Rahu is a very turbulent planet. Her inner peace is not there, and because she's like within herself, she's all over the place, she cannot be receptive and happy in a relationship to receive the good things that come from her partner, to appreciate the good things, even the good things from around the world. There is always something on her mind, always something that is making her tumultuous within herself. And she has to learn, women like that have to learn to meditate, to center themselves, to be more appreciative, to be more receptive as well, you know. But anyway, I hope I gave you a good idea, you know, how approximately things work. But this is only one factor. We have 4 or 5 different factors which can be even more painful if you have them in a horoscope, to be with such people in a relationship. And again, I repeat, if you want to know all the factors, a combined outlook of how good is someone in a relationship or no, if you then you can order the report from my teacher from my website astrolada.com, a female or male capacity report on top of the site, and the full picture will be explained there. If not, you can follow my further videos throughout the year. I'll be giving little bits and bobs to introduce you to some astrological techniques that you can quickly judge someone if they're a bit psycho or if they're a bit unstable emotionally, or to know what to expect from the person or how to work around this person. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you understood a bit from astrology. Don't freak out. Don't start telling me, oh, that's it, I'll never get married or anything. This is just one factor. You need to have 3 or 4 such factors to be unmarriageable material.